What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Season 7, Episode 7. Let's talk about Bilal and Shaeeda. This whole entire time I've been calling this poor woman Shaeeda because that's what it looks like to me, but it's actually Shaeeda. Okay, so Bilal wants to distract Shaeeda from the upcoming fertility results. In the last episode, they went to the doctor, they ran some tests to see exactly where her fertility levels are at. And so they're waiting for the results. So instead of her, I guess, stressing over that, he's going to try to relax her and de stress her by putting her behind the wheel and teaching her how to drive. Because there's nothing more relaxing than, getting a driving lesson from your husband who makes you feel like you're incompetent, who makes you feel like you're about to wreck even though y'all are like in an empty parking lot. Yeah, that's extremely relaxing. So the issue is she knows how to drive a car, but she only knows how to drive on the left side of the road like they do in Trinidad, and in America we drive on the right side of the road. So he's teaching her how to do that, and of course it was stressful. Anyways, so later on, they finally have their consultation or their meetup with the doctor. They do it over FaceTime, and he only has some of the results. As far as her hormone levels, the doctor said that her hormone levels are fine, but they're still waiting for the test that's going to give them an idea of the quality of her eggs, I guess. Her egg reserve, like how many eggs she has, or the quality of her eggs, or something to do with her eggs. So that's the one that they're still waiting on. So currently, then the doctor asks them, okay, so where are y'all at on having a baby? And they're basically at zero. Like they said last time, they're at zero because they are using protection. So they're not trying to have a baby. So I don't know what's going on here, because you would have thought that they would have at least given it the good old college try naturally before they went to a fertility specialist. So this whole thing is just very convoluted. I read an article online, I think it's from Screen Rant, where it said that this whole thing about Bilal and Shaeeda seeing a fertility specialist, it's all bogus. This doctor is not even a real fertility specialist. He is a doctor, he is a gynecologist, but he's not a fertility specialist. And so this is just filler or fake storyline. I don't know, but this article was just implying that this is not real. I don't know if the article was trying to say that they're not trying to have a baby in real life, or if they're trying to have a baby, but for whatever reason, they go to a gynecologist instead of a fertility specialist. I have no idea, but it doesn't make any sense. If you're not even trying, why are you going to a fertility specialist? Because you could get pregnant on your very first try. Anyways, so they're currently using protection. Bilal, of course, as we all know, he's very hesitant about having children because Shaeeda is always talking about leaving him, threatening to leave him. And this is whenever they're arguing, she'll make these empty threats. I see them as empty threats. But Bilal, of course, he's going to take that and he's going to use it against her as another reason why they shouldn't have children. We all know that Bilal does not believe that Shaeeda is going to actually leave him, but he's going to grasp at whatever he can to come up with an excuse of not procreating with her. So Shaeeda doesn't want Bilal to fear that she's actually going to be leaving him if they have a child. So she wants to convince them that, hey, I'm here for the long haul. I'm not trying to leave you. When I say things like that, I'm just saying them out of frustration. So they make a list of pros and cons of them having a baby. Of course, Bilal concentrates only on the negative aspect of having a baby. He talks about how there's going to be a lack of sleep on Shaeeda's part because Shaeeda has to have at least 10 hours of sleep. So a baby is definitely going to cut that more than half. He talks about poopy diapers. He talks about the finances. And with all of that, she's like, I don't mind. I don't mind. I have nieces and nephews, so I'm used to changing dirty diapers. I don't care about losing sleep. I don't care about the finances of raising a child. We're going to make it. So with all of his cons, she comes up with a way to overcome that. So Bilal then brings up her threatening to leave the marriage. And Shaeeda says that, she just says things out of anger and frustration. She doesn't mean it. It's no big deal. So Shaeeda says that she fears that time is slipping by. She's wasting her time. She tells him, I don't want to have to go through this with you every single year trying to convince you that we should start trying to have a baby. And she says in her confessional that whatever insecurities that he has from his past relationships, the fear that he has of going through another divorce with children, she says those are his problems, and I cannot let his problems affect my life and the direction that I want my life to go. And so she says she's going to have a baby come hell or high water. Some way, somehow, she's going to have a baby. So when I look at Shaeeda and Bilal, this man doesn't want to have children, period. Point blank, period. The only reason why he put that thing about having a baby by the time she's 40 in the prenuptial agreement is just to get her to sign the prenuptial agreement. That was the only reason why. He's not serious about having a child with her. And because of the fact that they're using prophylactics to prevent pregnancy, there's no way that she can get around, still getting pregnant by her husband. She just either I don't see, he doesn't want to have any children because he thinks that he's like a half-time or a halfway empty nester. When his children are not with him for visitation, he sees himself as an empty nester. He has this beautiful young wife. His kids are with their mom. He wants to live that life of an empty nester. And of course, when the kids come over, he's got to do daddy duty. But when the kids are not there, he doesn't want to have another child there. He does not want to be raising another kid from scratch. That's not his agenda. That's not what he wants to do. And he should just be honest with Shaeeda and just tell her, well, now it's too late because we're married, but he should have told her from day one, hey, if you're going to date me, if you want to be with me, you need to understand one thing. I don't want to have any more children. I have a boy, I have a girl, they're almost grown. I don't want to have any more children. I don't want to have a baby. And that's just how it is. And if you can't deal with that, then we shouldn't date. If he was man enough, he would have said that to her. He would have said that to her. But I don't know what's going on with Bilal. Now you got yourself in a pickle because maybe he thought that, because Bilal is so egotistical, he probably thought that he was going to convince her to not have a baby, but he does not understand the desire that's in a woman when she wants to have a child. He did not anticipate how intense it was going to be for Shaeeda to have a baby. There is nothing anybody can say. Once a woman has made up her mind that she wants to have a child, there is nothing anyone can say to convince her otherwise. There is no argument on planet Earth that's going to convince her otherwise. It doesn't matter how rich, how poor, if she's married, if she's single. It does not matter what living conditions she's in. It does not matter how many other children she has. None of that matters. Once that desire hits you to have a child, that's it. And Bilal underestimated how strong that desire is in a woman to have a baby. He's an idiot. Moving on to Andrei and Libby. So Andrei meets up with his immigration attorney. First of all, he was surprised of like, why is my lawyer wanting to actually meet with me in person? Because usually when it's time to renew my green card, it kind of happens automatically. But this time around, the lawyer wanted to talk to him face to face. So he goes to the lawyer's office, and the lawyer tells him that immigration wants to have an interview with you and Libby. And this is unusual. So the lawyer puts all this fear in him saying, I don't know why they want to meet with you, why they want to interview you again, because y'all are clearly married, legitimately married. You have a child together, y'all are living together. So I don't know what's going on. So the lawyer implies that maybe they found something in Andrei's background that's troubling. And so they want to talk to him further. And then the lawyer just puts so much fear in him. Then she says, I've seen my clients get deported when they have to do an immigration interview. I've seen my clients get arrested like right then and there. She talks about like all this doom and gloom of what could possibly happen. And so he thinks automatically that if somebody has talked to immigration and reported something to immigration about him that was negative, it has to have been, Libby's family. So he's like in such a state of, I don't know what, panic or whatever, so that when he comes home, he tells Libby, hey, something's going on. I'm not sure exactly what, but we have an interview with immigration and it's kind of unusual that they want to interview us face to face. And so he tells her, my lawyer told me that maybe somebody could have reported me and they saw something in my background that they want to investigate further. And so Libby's like, well, who the hell could have reported you? And Andre says, your family. And Libby says, there's just no way it could have been my family because they don't know anything about immigration. And Andre's like, oh, of course it's your family because they're jealous of us. Look how we're living. They're jealous. They're jealous of us. And even though they're having a normal conversation, like the topic of conversation, okay, it's kind of scary, but they're on the same page. Andre and Libby, they're on the same page. But the way that they talk, it's like they're in a heated argument. Like they're just like on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they're not. But Andre talks so aggressively. He talks so aggressively that a normal conversation sounds like a damn argument. And I just don't understand why he always has to be on 10. You know what I mean? Everything about Andre is just like constant tension and stress and just everything is exaggerated with him. And I'm just like, Libby, how in the world do you live like this? Because I'm thinking if he's like this on camera, he has to be worse when the cameras are not there. I think when he's on camera, he's like on his best behavior. Because why would you want to look like that on camera if you're actually normally very peaceful and calm? Why would you want to? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe he is calm in real life, but then when the cameras are there, he amps it up. Maybe because for dramatic effect or something. But it was a normal conversation. They were both in agreement that, yeah, this is unusual. The only thing they didn't agree on was whether or not it was Libby's family that reported him to immigration. And then Libby tells him, look, if my family reported you to immigration, they would know that I would be leaving with you. So why would they do that? And Andre says, they don't care. They don't care about you. When he was in his lawyer's office and they were talking about, possibly immigration, thinking that there might be something in his background, he was like, well, what about my constitutional rights? What about the rights of that they need evidence? They just can't throw me out of the country with no evidence. And the lawyer says, Andre, you're not an American citizen. You don't have any constitutional protection. They don't care about that. You have no constitutional rights. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. But I'm pretty sure at the end of it all, they're going to pass their damn interview with flying colors. This is just all, I don't really believe that there's any real fear of Andre being deported or something coming up in his. Instead of Andre and Libby coming back on this damn show, why couldn't we have, here I go with the names. I cannot remember names at all, even though the season just ended. What about Thais and Patrick? The couples that had babies. I would have been more interested in them than watching Andre and Libby for the 25th year. Thais and Patrick would have been interesting because, they're having a new baby. Also, what was that other Guillermo and I forgot her name, but Guillermo and his wife, they were pregnant. I would have much rather had seen them because this is really like, life after you get married. They're having babies and they're having babies pretty early in their marriage. I would have loved to have seen all of that unfold instead of going through Andre and his fake immigration drama. Moving on to Sumit and Jenny. Okay, so they are still on their honeymoon. Jenny's still wanting to go back to the United States. She FaceTimes her daughter Christine. They talk about her moving back to the United States with Sumit. Then Jenny, her daughter tells her that she's going to be coming to visit her mom in India. So Jenny's very excited about that. And then Jenny tells her daughter that Sumit wants to take a Kama Sutra class, but she's not really interested in that. And her daughter was like, Mom, just go ahead and do it. Live a little. So, So then she sees Sumit, and she tells Sumit that her daughter's coming. They talk about Kama Sutra. Sumit says he wants more excitement, I guess, in the bedroom. And Jenny says, well, that's what I was afraid of. She was afraid of, I guess, marrying this younger guy with all this energy, that he was going to get bored with her. And it seems like he's showing signs that he's probably getting bored with her. So side note, Janie is 63 years old, right? She's older than Angela, but Angela looks way older than Jenny. Anyways, moving on. So Jenny asks if he's getting bored, and Sumit says that they have to think about the future. So he avoids the question. He doesn't answer it directly. He says, I'm more concerned about the future. And I'm like, look, the future is bleak, Sumit. The future is extremely bleak. She is 63 years old. It's not going to get any more exciting or any more energetic. Okay, Sumit, you're thinking about the future. What future? What future? Okay, she's knocking on the door of 70. What future are you talking about? How is Kama Sutra going to improve your intimacy future with Jenny, your intimacy relations with Jenny? Anyways, oh my God. So Sumit says he wants to try new things. And I'm thinking to myself, imagine having this conversation with your husband on your honeymoon. He's already talking about how he wants to try new things, and y'all just got married. He's trying to push you to do Kama Sutra, and y'all just got married. Because, normally you would expect that newlyweds don't have to worry about making things more exciting. They just got married. It's still passionate. It's still very heated. But he's already like dragging her to Kama Sutra to, spice things up. So now it's time for the Kama Sutra lesson. They walk into the class, and it's just nothing but young, attractive, hot people. Sumit says in his confessional that if Jenny leaves, I'll do the Kama Sutra lessons with someone else. But he was just joking. The instructor says that, because they talk to the instructor, I guess, like one-on-one. The instructor says that he's never seen such an age difference between a couple. The instructor also goes on to say that he's never had a person as old as Jenny in his Kama Sutra class, and he hopes that she doesn't suffer any injuries. This whole Kama Sutra thing, I don't even know if I believe it. Like, if I truly believe, I don't think that, like, I seriously don't think that Submit came up with this idea to go to Kama Sutra. I think it was the producer's idea just to have some type of content. There's no way that, Submit, he's not trying to spice it. He knows what he's working with. He is not trying to spice up anything with 63-year-old Jenny. He knows that she cannot twist and bend like a pretzel. He knows exactly what he's working with. This whole Kama Sutra thing was strictly the ideas of the producers, just to have them something to do in between scenes. Let's get real. Let's get all the way real. Okay, moving on to, I want to save them for last because I can't stand them. Let's move on to Angela and Michael. So when we see Angela, she is still outside of Michael's house, vandalizing his car, trying to tear it apart with her nails. And the whole time, like when she was pulling on the license plate in the back, I was so worried about her breaking a nail. I was like, so tense. She's up. So the thing about Angela and why she's tearing up his car is because she says, I've traveled all the way across the world to come see my husband, and he won't even come out of the house to talk to me. You would think that he would have been excited, happy. Oh, my wife is here. She surprised me with a damn visit. Even though she was already upset, you would have thought that he still would have come out. And so she feels highly disrespected, being his wife. He won't even bother, not even to come to the damn window to talk to her through the window. Not even that. So, the whole thing that's sparking her anger is the fact that he won't take down his damn Instagram. So she's, messing up his car, and Renee is at the window, and she's talking to somebody, and she's like, tell him to come out. Tell Michael to come out. She's ruining his car. So he finally comes out. As soon as he steps out of the house, Angela bum rushes him, and she puts her hands on him, right? And she's ready to like choke the life out of him. And so he's grabbing her wrist, and he's like literally fighting her off of him because she was out for blood. So he's like trying to fight her off. And finally, someone comes and tries to like get in between them. And Angela starts screaming all kinds of things at him. He's screaming at her. He's like, who comes to someone's house in the middle middle of the night? Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you crazy? What are you doing? So it's just chaos, right? And so Angela starts, she like in her little confessional, she's like, people have been telling me since day one not to mess with this man, and I didn't listen. So I'm beginning to wonder if they're actually right. If, he really is just trying to use me for a green card, use me for money, and, maybe all those people were right. Who the hell knows? And that's basically where they're seen, and it wasn't very long. The only thing that I have to say about Angela, yeah, Angela, this ain't it, girl. This is not it. What are you gonna do with Michael? What are you gonna do with Michael? What are you gonna do with Michael? And what the hell is Michael gonna do with you other than use your money? Like what? It's just dumb and stupid. And then the funny thing about it is that Renee tries to like calm her down, and she's like, "Oh, maybe we should go back to the hotel. Maybe I should never have left the hotel." Now you're trying to get her to go back to the hotel after you got her all riled up and pumped up to come to his house. Now you're trying to get her to calm down and go back to the hotel. Renee, you're a joke. Moving on to Ed and Liz. Not interested, not interested in the least. But here we are. So it's the day of their engagement party. I'm trying to think if I should even give any of the stuff that led up to the engagement party. Liz's mom's issue with Ed is the age thing. Liz's mom is worried about the whole age difference between her daughter and Ed. Ed says that he would be very surprised if his mom shows up and his daughter. He'd be surprised if they showed up. They were given an invitation, and Ed's best friend Rich was not invited. I don't know really who Rich is outside of Happily Ever After, because I didn't watch The Single Life or whatever franchise Ed was on when he met Liz. So him not being invited, I don't know what kind of effect that would have on anything. So at the engagement party, Ed says he feels like a celebrity. He says he's a cross between Danny DeVito, check, and George Clooney. Which George Clooney? From what universe? From what galaxy? Not Earth, not that George Clooney. Liz's mom is there, and you can tell that she's struggling with something because her face is like all, real pensive. And so the mom says that she thought that Liz would have taken a break after what she had just went through, which I don't know what she's referring to, but she's grateful that Ed took Liz from a very dark place. And so I guess she's in support of their relationship. At some point, this was not on camera, Liz got into a fight with a female guest, and it was so bad that the female guest had to be removed. Liz had the female guest removed. So Ed says that this female guest that Liz was arguing with is a lesbian, and that the fight looked like it was an emotional fight between Liz and this guest. So Ed thought that there was something between them, that they had some type of a romantic relationship. So he asks Liz if she was in a relationship with this woman, and Liz was like, "Are you serious? Are you really asking me this?" So she gets really upset and she storms out. I mean, she storms all the way out. She's like running across the street at night, no shoes on. It was bizarre. So Ed says that Liz at one point had expressed interest in dating women after they had one of their breakups, and she was really hurt by him. She was, I guess, swearing off men and had expressed some type of interest in dating a woman. I don't know how serious she was. I have no idea what's going on there. So that's why Ed thought that maybe Liz and this guest had a thing going on. So he calls her. He tries to get her on the phone, and he says that they have way too many issues that need to be resolved before they get married. So I'm like, so you want to break up with her because you feel you have suspicions that she might have dated this what? Like what? I didn't, y'all, this is an engagement party. Y'all are about to get married, but now you want to call off the wedding because you think that based on your assumption that she was having a relationship with that female guest. I was like, this is what they do. Ed and Liz, they break up like at the drop of a dime over very minor things. They just break up and they get back together. What? Anyways, so Liz, so he's like, "You're not ready to get married. We have a lot of issues." And Liz tells Ed that, she really like expresses a lot of frustration that she's been holding in. She says, number one, you're praising Alex. So she's still not over Alex. The whole photo session in the dark thing, she is not over that. So she says, okay, you were praising Alex, talking about how beautiful she was, but then you're telling me to lose weight. And they argue some more. They go back and forth about some other issues. And then Ed insists that there was something romantic between Liz and that female guest. And she's, and he wants her to move out. But he doesn't know for sure if there was something going on between Liz and that woman. Does he have anything more concrete than just his assumption and his suspicions? So as he's like talking to her on the phone, just going on and on the phone, she puts the phone down and she walks off into the night. And Ed is left alone arguing to the stars and moon because Liz has left. And I'm just so confused. Like, Ed, what is wrong with Ed? That's strange. That was really bizarre to me that he was telling her, get your stuff, get out of my house. We have a lot of issues. You're not ready to get married. What were they arguing about? I mean, was he privy to their argument? Did he actually hear things that would have indicated that Liz was in a relationship with this woman? I don't know, but that's Ed and Liz. Just confusion and nonsense. Anyways, that is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.